Happy International Women's Day. My name is Shabana. I'm going to share a few reflections on this special day. On International Women's Day, I usually take an opportunity to reflect on my own personal journey and also the journey of the women around me. I think this last year, more than ever, I've been so inspired by the women I've worked alongside during the pandemic. There are so many incredible stories about women responding to the crisis to support one another and inspire each other, and it's never been more needed than at this time. Many of us are juggling work along with homeschooling and family life, and working with the women in Islington has been such an incredible experience. The work of so many dedicated women across the voluntary and community sector, as well as colleagues, has kept me motivated and inspired during what has been sometimes really difficult times. So my message for today is to let's continue to lift each other up and recognise how far we've come on the journey towards equality. And thank you. Have a great day.
I'm Suzanne and I'm Artistic Director of All Change, a community arts company based in Islington. I'm also a co-founder of Islington for Women. I've worked in Islington for over 30 years and I know that it's a borough of extraordinary richness and opportunity. However, not everybody has access to those opportunities. I work with many women and girls of all ages every year, running arts projects which are about developing skills, enabling people to tell their stories and express their ideas. Over this past year, the pandemic has had a disproportionate effect on women, but I've been really inspired and struck by the resilience and the creativity and the willingness to support the community that I've seen from the women that I've worked with. And I'd like to share with you 2 poems that were written by our young women's group, who are young women aged 16 to 25 in Islington, for their community in this time. Stay strong. You can do this. You can get through it. Keep going. Don't give up. We are all in this together. We will come out of this together, in our magic world, together. In these ridiculous times, you are a blue sky. You are a shining star in the night. You are sunshine. You can do it, because you are magic. You are the brightest yellow. Our advice to you. Think positive. Be kind to yourself. Never drop that crown. There is light at the end of all this. One day at a time, it won't last forever. Get up, get dressed every day. Keep busy, notice the good things, and stay in the present moment. Keep in touch. Offer your ear. There's always someone to talk to. Promise. Breathe in the positive, breathe out the negative. Do some art. Find the brightest colours. Cook different foods. Turn up the music and dance in the kitchen. Go for long walks in the cold. Write stories in your notebook. And remember the good times. Happy International Women.
Hi, I'm Anita Grant. I am the Chief Executive of Islington Play Association and I am also founder member of Islington for Women. The reason why I was really interested in setting up Islington for Women was because there was a report that came out that said Islington was the worst place to be living if you were a woman, and I was very intrigued and also felt like that couldn't possibly be true. I was born in Islington, went to school in Islington, went to uni in Islington and still work in Islington. So I feel extremely strongly that it's not a difficult place to be a woman. And then actually there's a lot of really, really positive things that go on in Islington, not least of which are that women are in some of the most senior positions in the borough, in the council, in lots of the organisations, in the charity sector, in the schools. And that means that women are having an influence in the places of power, which is what I think makes a difference. The other thing that we've found out through doing Islington for Women is the enormous range of different people and different experiences that go on here in the borough, and how well people communicate, how people get together, how people share, and in the recent times of COVID, that's become even more clear. We've had amazing mutual aid groups, we've had amazing responses from charities, and we've had a lot of social media and press around the issues for our families and our children. And that, by doing that, it means that we can shine a light on inequalities and prejudice in the borough in a way that I think is brave, honest and important. So I would like to thank you for watching me on this International Women's Day visual blog, and hope that you enjoy the day and the year, and that this is the time when we all find our power, work together and make the world a better place. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Joanna and I'm the founder of Speak Street. I'd love to wish everyone out there an happy International Women's Day 2021. So I founded Speak Street over 6 years ago in Islington, and I've been reflecting this International Women's Day at how different life was for women like me and for all women everywhere back when the first International Women's Day took place in 1911. That was a time when women weren't in leadership positions. They didn't have the right to vote. They didn't even have the most basic control over their own economic or, things affecting their own lives. And just how much has changed with the steady and constant campaigning of women through the last century. I'm really inspired to think about, especially when I see all the women around me who we're privileged to work with through our projects and meeting women who are in decision-making roles, leadership roles today, how far we can go in the next 100 years if women really can assume their equal places at boardrooms, in governments, in grassroots organisations, because it's so important for women to have an equal right in decision-making. And I think we've still got a long way to go, but I think the future is really bright and inspiring.
Well, I think it is very important for us to support families. When we support families, when families are able to provide for children, then they will thrive. We need to tackle inequality. It is one of the main issues. And women, we need to, enough is enough. We need to advocate more for women in terms of flexible work policies. Thank goodness everyone is working from home now. But when COVID lockdown is restricted, I think women should have that opportunity to continue to have that home work balance in terms of remote working. I see inspiration in the variety of people, but I would say my mother really inspires me because she's very hardworking, committed, and loving, and she actually instilled discipline into all her children. So she's my source of inspiration. In terms of promoting women empowerment, to me is about giving that women the opportunity and right to be able to influence social changes, to be able to have that equal opportunity wherever they are, at home, at work, in the society. It is important for women to have equal right. And I would just want to say we're celebrating International Women's Day, and I just want to celebrate all women in Islington, people that are, in particular, people that have been working during this COVID-19 pandemic, supporting people in the community. Thank you. Have a good International Women's Day.
I think for International Women's Day, I think what's really important for me is to not forget that women's rights still need to be fought for, and pandemics are well known to affect women disproportionately. So, to all women out there that are struggling with, childcare or, domestic violence or lack of pay because they were in zero-hour contracts and things like this, we're still there. We're still fighting for women's rights, and we'll all get to a better place together.
My name is Halale Tahiri, the founder and executive director of Middle Eastern Women and Society organization. I'm a fighter from Iranian Revolution, a passionate activist from gender justice and women's rights, both in our community and wider society. My inspiring role models are Clara Zetkin and Rosa Luxemburg, the two key socialist and women's rights leaders at the time. 110 years ago, female leaders from more than 25 countries gathered in Copenhagen for an international conference. They set 8 March as a Women's Day, which is nowadays a global day celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievement of women. I set up the museum 11 years ago in Islington, and I hope though our work to sustain the legacy of these two incredible women fighters for freedom, for justice, and equality.
Hello, my name is Shauna Shields and I'm the co-chair of Balance, which is Macquarie's Gender Diversity Networking Group here in London. I work for Macquarie Bank and I have been with the firm for almost 14 years. And today I want to tell you all about the women that inspire me and why. So I've thought about this for a while, and I'm not going to ask and say about all those women that are, public figures, world leaders and so on. And for me, it's a little bit closer to home. And I feel like the women that inspire me most are actually some of my best friends. I've been friends with these girls, these ladies, since we were children. So we've all grown up together. We've gone through lots of trials and tribulations and the good times and some very bad times as well. And on reflection, particularly in the last 12 months with the pandemic, listening to some of my friends who, one girl she can't leave her house because she's had 2 kidney transplants, and yet she finds humour in her every day. And she's got 2 young daughters, 2 beautiful daughters that she homeschools. And I draw strength on that. And I find from a resilience perspective, they're the people that really inspire me. And all of my other friends who are trying to keep the house running, homeschooling, full-time job, caring for elderly parents is a challenge for them. And normally I'd be able to travel home to Ireland, to Dublin, at least once a month and catch up over a coffee. And we can't do that. And I appreciate and I understand the challenges that they're going through at the moment. I don't have children myself, but I empathise in their situation. And really, I find that they're the people that are currently inspiring me.
Dear ladies, International Women's Day is coming. And that's such a good occasion to remind ourselves how proud shall we all be and how amazing we are. Any person deserves the right to make choices independently and honestly face the outcomes which drives a true understanding of ourselves. The women of Islington, free to choose their walks of life, make the world around them better with their choices every day. Ambitious business ladies, wonderful NHS and key workers, caring mothers, dedicated volunteers, wise wives, entrepreneurs or creative makers, we cover all the spheres of life with our love, care and passion. So, if asked about the most inspiring moment in the history of women empowerment, I would say that I am just living this inspiring moment right now. The moment when women are not predetermined nor limited by any culture anymore. On the contrary, they are shaping the culture themselves, ensuring a better future for further generations. So let's celebrate those who fought for our rights to fulfill any dreams, to become whosoever we want, and let's celebrate each other, our mothers and daughters, friends, colleagues and teachers. They are absolutely gorgeous, and so you are.
Hi, I'm Jenny, and I've lived in Islington for the last 13 years. For me, thinking about International Women's Day and what women's empowerment means and who inspires me and kind of what I would want to share with other people really comes down to this idea that being a woman doesn't have to mean you're put in a certain box. That what you like or don't like, what you want to do or don't want to do, and what you can do and can't do aren't tied to your gender. That being a woman doesn't mean you have any limitations, and also that the things about being a woman are celebrated, things that are considered feminine, whether they're attributes or passions or personality traits. Those things that are considered feminine are actually celebrated in every context. And they're the sort of freedom to be who you are and who you want to be. And I think this ties into who I look up to as an example of a woman leader, or just as a woman who embodies everything I think that can be achieved when a woman is allowed to be who she wants to be. And that's Emma Collier, who founded Body and Soul, which is a charity I've been involved with for over 6 years. And I think the core of the charity comes from Emma's values herself of not putting people into boxes, whether it's something that is because of their gender or their race or their physical health or their mental health, that you're not defined by one characteristic. And I think that kind of is what been amazing for me to watch her live that out every day, in how she is compassionate and loving and extending that freedom and that space for people to be who they want to be, who they are, and that ability is for all women to be able to express that and to be that. It is what I would want for the women of Islington and everywhere.